Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerd started playing paintball in 1999, started playing competitively in 2000. In 2022, he started Grow the Sport Paintball, focusing on addiction awareness and mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Nick Rodriguez.
What's up,
What's up,
Zyzek?
Nick? How
How
you
you
doing,
doing, man?
man?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm a little nervous, to be honest,
Oh,
um,
man.
but I appreciate you accepting my offer, me reaching out via the Instagram and
Of
having me on the
course.
show. It's an honor.
Absolutely. My pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to it, Nick. So let's start off with tell me how you got involved in paintball back in '99.
I forgot the first time I saw like a paintball gun. I think a friend of mine had like an angel or something like that.
Sweet.
And yeah, it was like this red angel. It was like, I found out after it's like the rich kid's gun.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. They were
and
expensive.
Yeah, they are. And to be honest, I fell in love with the paintball guns more than I fell in love with paintball at
Huh.
first. Um, and so I started like really getting into like, I bought like my first gun, which was like I went to this like tactical store, and it was this a spider compact, the one
Dude,
that
me
came in.
too.
Yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
the
That was my
CO2 right in the bottom there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that
my
was
first
mine too.
my first gun, man. And then I remember like I started playing a little bit, and I was still scared to get hit by paintballs, and I spent, like I would like ask my parents for money to go to the movies and stuff like that, and instead like I would like ride my bike to the paintball shop and like upgrade my gear, and
Yeah,
I remember buying this like expansion chamber for the spider compact, and like that
smart.
way the CO2 tank goes in the back.
Yep.
And then and then I started playing like in this little area we had by our house. It was like this little like empty lot. It had like some woods. Um, and then I just kept, dude, I was just obsessed with paintball guns, and I kept like upgrading, and like I think I went from a Spider Compact to like um, maybe like a Spider. Man, what was that other Spider called? The one with
TL plus SE.
the Spider. T. It might be the TL. It came in blue and it came in black.
Oh, it wasn't the
I
TL
for,
plus or the SE.
no, yeah, I forgot what it was called. But yeah, then I upgraded to that one. I'm sure people in the show are gonna know what that one was called. And
Hmm.
damn, I wish I remember the name. And I started playing a little bit more, and I remember I went to my first field called Rough and Tough Paintball here in Miami, where I'm from. And I remember like my dad took me, and I was super scared to play because like you hear those balls hitting the
Oh
at that
yeah, dude.
time. Yeah, it was like the hyper ball, so like
Hmm.
those balls are hitting, like you hear it. So I was like, man, I must have been like 11 years old, 12 years old. I was really scared, and like we do in the paintball community. One of the older guys came out. He saw me sitting there. He's like, "Yo, come on, like I'll come play. I'll protect you." And I played for the first time on a field, and that's it. I guess you could say I got bit by the paintball spider. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
that's what we need more of. We need more guys like that.
Right.
Do you still know the guy that
No, I
protected
have no
you?
idea. I have
Hey
no
man,
idea who that guy. But I have seen a lot of
didn't
rough
even
and
know
tough
you.
jerseys. Nope,
Just
not at
just
all.
giving back. Like that happened for me too when I was growing up playing. Like there was a local at the paintball field, Borderland, where I played a lot of. There's a guy named Roscoe. He's still around, and he would always pour into the kids, that showed up and played and like helped them and like taught them tactics and stuff. And looking back, it's like it's guys like that got me hooked on the sport.
Right.
And I feel like we just need more of that, man.
I think we still have a lot
Yeah,
of that. Um, it's definitely molded since back then, because back then I think it was a little more rough around the
true.
edges of a sport. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like the guys were more rugged, and it was, dude, it was like the early 2000s, like late 99. It was like, the people were a little more rough back then. Um,
Yeah,
so like I
that's
think
true.
that they like kind of took you in without your willingness, at some times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think like back then when we started, because I started around the same time as you, like '98. Like there wasn't a lot of young kids in the game at that time. It was still like it was like kind of like an older guy sport, like a guy that's like, has a bunch of disposable income, blowing money
Yeah,
on
right.
paintball gear,
True.
so not a lot of kids came out. But like, yeah, I do think that it's a good message that, all of us that play, like, be the guy, be the guy that got you hooked. Pour into the community, pour into the new players. Don't just go play walk-ons and mess people up because you can. Like,
Right.
get people hooked.
Of course. Of course.
So, how did Grow the Sport Paintball come about?
Um, so like and this is on my Instagram too. Like if you see my first post, it's basically it says our story. Um, so Grow the Sport Paintball, I started in like 2022. Honestly, man, I played from 99 to about '04. Right around the age of 17, um, around 16, 17. I got really, really into heavy drugs and
Really?
really, well, my first job ever actually was at a paintball store. I worked at Splat Attack Paintball, which the owner there, that guy's, I was a kid. I couldn't afford to play paintball. So he hired me. He completely sponsored me. Like I didn't pay
Wow.
a dollar to play paintball, so I had the opportunity to play paintball for free and go to tournaments paid and be sponsored by this store and
What's his name?
Joel Hernandez.
Shout out Joel. Thank you, Joel.
Shout out to Joel Hernandez. He's actually they've been open since 1994, and I help them run their field now.
Nice.
Just on the side, like just to give back. Uh, but around 90, I started playing the events in like 2000 back in the MPPL days. Um, and my drug addiction really started to take off around 2002 to 2004. And
Man. What
and it
was it?
got
Like what kind of drugs?
uh, my I mean, it started off, obviously with like weed and then I got into some pills and Xanax and I went from coke to crack to crack really took me down, man, for a lot of years. um
It's so young to be
you know
doing that too, man.
it's my I got I hung out with my brother's friends. He's older. um my brother's also an addict. um and so it was kind of like just around me all the time. And once I got so bad on drugs, I really, the only interest I had was using. And
Yeah.
like I know, like, addicts watching this and people that follow me that are in recovery can understand this, that we lose interest in everything, and the only thing that becomes an interest of ours is drugs. So
Man.
from I remember playing MPPL World Cup in 2003, and right a little bit after that, around '04, is when I stopped. I remember, man, I sold all my paintball gear for drugs.
Dang.
Man, I had this Dragon Intimidator right when the
Mm.
nice Intimidators came out. It was all
Yeah.
blue. Um,
You like
man,
the blue.
yeah, the blue. That thing was like, um, I had blue markers all the time, um, and I sold everything, man. I sold everything, not to get into like too much of it, but addicts that watch your show, man, are gonna understand. I know there's some other people out there like Patty Gleason, whose like
Yeah.
story is very, very similar to mine, And
Yeah.
me and him have chatted before through Instagram, and like, I've connected with a lot of people in recovery and through Grow the Sport. So for the next 10 years, I spent, I was either in treatment or in jail or homeless, or, it just got worse
Dang,
and
dude.
worse and worse. Yeah. So paintball was my, you know, you could say like it was like a lost dream. It was the healthiest thing
Yeah.
that I had. Um, you know how healthy paintball is, Manny. I'm sure even now at mine and your age, like it's not even necessarily about the competition at this point. It's about the health and the mental health and like
Sure.
the it's like what we get from it spiritually and physically. And
Yeah.
I finally got clean in 2010. um and I
How did you
never,
get clean?
man, I got arrested for the last time, for some pretty serious charges. And it was, I was homeless. This was like my 16th time in jail.
Jeez.
And it was like, it was like I was about to go to prison, and I remember they offered to send me to treatment for the last time, with some pretty bad charges. And I basically rebuilt my life, man, from nothing. I didn't have a job, a home. I started from like ground zero. I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be watching this can relate, that are watching this now can relate. And slowly, like paintball had always been in the back. Like I'd always missed paintball. Like I
Yeah.
missed it. It was like this thing that I had that just like was taken from me. And after about 6 or 7 years clean, I was finally able to afford, to play again. And I bought this like Axe 2.0 on Craigslist, and like,
Nice.
I was like, I, I I was so warped from so many years of being like, in drug addiction. Like,
Mm.
man, it was like I met up with this guy in the parking lot of a Best Buy, and like I bought this like Axe, and like, it felt like a drug deal. It was so weird, man. And like I gave the guy the cash real quick, and I took the gun real quick, like just to make sure. Like, dude, I was just so used to like, this
Sketchy transactions.
yeah, like everything was sketchy for up until, even at that much clean time, like,
Yeah.
um, and then I slowly got it back into paintball. My son was born in um, my son was born in 2014. Um, After he was a few years old is when I took a little break. Um, but I've been back into the sport now probably for the last, um, I'd say
15 years?
10 years.
Oh, 10
Yeah,
years.
well, yeah, because my son was born in 14. So now it's been about, uh, 10 years that I've been back into the sport, and probably the last 7 years I've been playing. You could say like competitively again. Like I started like the first couple of years slowly easing back in, and like, like thinking that I was still as good as I used to be back in the day. And uh, you
I've
know,
been there too.
yeah, at some point your body just can't play Snake anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at. So that's to answer your
Dude,
question.
I appreciate you sharing that with me. I like your transparency is awesome. And I know you do it for the purpose of helping other people through the same challenges. Nick, if you weren't arrested, like if that didn't happen to you with those serious charges and they gave you the opportunity for treatment, do you think you would have got off drugs? Or do you think
I'd
it
be
took
I'd
that?
be dead. I'd be dead, man.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be dead. There's no way around it. I started getting into a little bit of heroin towards the end. Um, and nowadays, not to make it's that I'm so used because I'm in recovery. I'm actively in recovery. I go to meetings, like I have like a sponsor,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm an active member of my recovery. So I'm so used to talking about this that like if I talk about this with, I don't even know if you're shocked by the words that I'm saying. Like I'm so used to just talking about heroin and crack and but I'd be dead, dude, because there's no heroin anymore. There's just fentanyl, and we have people all the time that you see in the paintball community, 20, these 20-year-old kids, 25-year-old people just dying,
Yeah.
and nobody really posts the reason that they die, just out of respect, but like,
Yep.
the majority of the time, the reason these kids die, and I say kids because they're under 25,
Yeah.
it's because they're either doing Percocet, and they get a fucking bad Percocet that's pressed and it has fentanyl in it, and I've had so many people die that I know that it's just it's very easy for me to talk about these things. This is
Yeah.
this is this is my life, and this is what I do, and I'm not ashamed about it. You know.
Well, I think you're using it for good too. Obviously you are. What message would you want to communicate to, maybe the guy who's, in the situation that you were in or close to it? What message would you want to communicate to them so it's like they don't have to wait till they get arrested. They don't have to wait till serious charges or
I
dying.
mean,
Like what would you tell them?
see, this is the hard part about addiction, man, is that there's no until that person has hit their bottom, whatever that bottom looks like. It doesn't have to be homelessness. It could be something as simple as, they're going to lose one of their kids to DCF, or it could be something as simple as they're going to lose maybe a job that they love. Or some people have to overdose and 5 times. But I guess the message that I would give is that, um, it might be the hardest thing that you ever have to do, but you got to pick one or the other. You're either gonna continue living the way that you're living, or you're gonna change. And change is difficult. But I think that as addicts, especially someone who is in the grips of addiction, we forget that there is we forget the feelings of like feeling good about ourselves. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
we think that it's just all gonna feel bad getting clean. Like it's gonna suck, and like I'm gonna feel terrible, and yes, those feelings are gonna come,
mm,
but in with those feelings coming, there's also the opposite, the asset of those feelings coming. When you feel good about yourself, you might have some self confidence for the first time, and in however long it is since you felt that confidence.
yeah.
Just at some point, man, people don't make it out of addiction, man. You either get clean, or you die nowadays. That's just the way that it is.
Do you think people need to hit rock bottom to as that catalyst for transformation, or do you think there's something that can inspire someone to change before hitting that really serious place of rock bottom?
So I think there's various levels of an addict. um I think that I, I think for a serious drug addict, um we need to hit a very hard, hard bottom.
Mm,
We almost have to like break through a brick wall before we finally get it. And then I think that there's some addicts who, maybe because of their upbringing, or maybe because of certain morals that they might have within themselves, like I think that it varies, man. Maybe somebody gets arrested for a DUI and they're like, yo, I almost killed somebody, or maybe, for example, or something like that. And they're
mm,
like, that's it. Like because I've seen all levels of people get clean. Some people are like, oh, I failed college and I decided to get clean. And some people are like, hey, I overdosed, 9 times. And the last time, like, I lost sensation, and I had a stroke, and I lost
jeez.
sensation in half my body, or so I really think that it depends on the person, and their everybody has a different bottom, man.
But it's
Everybody.
coming. Like if you're in that situation, if you are an addict, that bottom is coming, right? So
There is a bottom. It's either
avoid
death
the bottom.
or avoid the bottom. Avoid the
Make the choice
bottom.
before you hit the bottom, man.
You know, you can
Dude.
keep digging, man. You know, you can dig, you can dig as deep as you want, man. But there's people that have dug their way deeper and have
Mm,
found their way out. You
yeah.
know, and there's people out there that will help. Um, as lame as some people might think certain things are, like as far as like going to meetings or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not what people think it is. You know, out looking on the outside in. You know, it's not like a movie where everybody's all mopey and it's like, hey, my name is George and I'm an
I'm
addict
an
and
addict.
everybody,
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
community, right? It's like a guy like you being like, yo, I've been where you're at.
it's like the
Like,
paintball
this is how you
community.
get out of it. Yeah.
It's very similar to the paintball community. I mean, you meet people in there from everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
People are people no matter where they're at, you know?
Well, if you're listening to this and you're struggling, like get the help, you know, get the help, seek the help. Reach out to someone like Nick, Patty that's, gone through it.
Right.
Don't think you're in it alone. Like get after it. Don't hit that bottom if you can avoid it. So, Nick, how did Grow the Sport Paintball come about like in 2022? Like walk me through that.
So, like I said, when I finally got back in, I was so I never imagined that I would play paintball again. It was just one of those dreams that, like I said, I lost everything. You know, it was one of those dreams that I would never afford to play paintball again. And I always missed paintball. Like that was the biggest thing I think that I felt like I loved and lost. Um, and when I got back into the sport, I saw so much community. Like I saw like a lot of the same stuff from back in the day, just kind of like newer, like now it's on Facebook and now it's
Yeah.
here and now the BSTs and like and all this community, like I saw that it was still here. And like what drove me so much was like dude, the passion that people have for this sport. Like I think like I said in the beginning, once you get bit by the paintball spider, it's like it never leaves you. It
Yeah.
never once you cross from being a walk on, and not in a bad way, but once you cross over from just being someone who plays a couple times in their life to
A nerd.
a paintball nerd, it's like you never ever
100%.
it never leaves you. It never
Yeah.
leaves you, at least for
Yeah.
me. And so I saw that still in the paintball community, and that really inspired me to I've been working for myself now for the last 7 years, right? So I really am passionate about providing for my family off of things that I love. It's very hard for me
That's
to
the
make
dream.
money. That's the dream, yeah. And it's hard, because I work jobs and I've done all that after I got clean, and at some point I became unhappy and so I wanted more time with my family, and the only way to really do that was to find ways to make money on my own, and so my main business is supports my family for the most part, and but like I have a few other side hustles of things that I enjoy, but like I really wanted to have like a small piece of the paintball pie, not the
Hmm.
paintball money, but a small piece of the paintball community's attention. Like I knew I wasn't the only one who felt that way about the paintball community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wanted to exhibit that with the brand, and which is why I picked the name Grow the Sport.
Great
It's
name.
it's not necessarily about growing the actual sport and like going to schools and like Grow the Sport is more of a like grow. all the goodness that's in this sport. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like there's so
Yeah.
much good here. Like even people that hate each other on the field, like man, like because I see it almost every weekend, man. Like there's somebody always gets shot one too many times, and it's usually the same person that. But I guarantee you, once that little rumble's over, like they see each other next weekend and they're good. They apologize, and it's
For
like
sure.
it's almost like on automatic that we have this community here, and it's just there's something so special here, man. And I wanted to create something that represents that. And in the very beginning, I remember I was like, what should I sell? Like how, because that's what I do. I sell shit for a living. I've sold stuff my whole life. Back in the day, I sold drugs. When I was younger, like I've been buying and selling stuff since I was a kid. Even as a kid, I remember going to my dad's work on Take Your Child to Work Day, and I would make these little football jerseys out of like paper, and I would sell them around his office for $1. So I was thinking like, what can I sell? Like, is it T-shirts? Is it this? Is it that? Is it headbands? So I decided like the best form of doing stuff, the best way to kind of exhibit something so important to me is a physical item, which I landed on headbands, and at first I reached out to suppliers to like make headbands for me, and then I'm very big on quality, man. Like I won't put something out there that's shitty and cheap and like just to like throw it out there, and somehow I just fell into making my own headbands. And dude, when I tell you how difficult that was, it was. I mean, people see a piece of cloth,
Dude, I've
and
tried. I
and
know how hard it is.
it is. It's man, it's to learn it. Like I learned it all myself, man. I taught myself how to make headbands, and again, the paintball community helped me. Like I reached out to numerous people from that make headbands. Like small companies, and there was only like two people that were willing to share that information with me. One of them was Charm City Paintball. So shout out to Charm City
Love Mike.
Paintball, Mike Thompson. I see him almost every weekend. We're really close. And Craig from King's Creations. They were the only two people who willingly gave me free info on what fabric to buy. Dude, I didn't know the difference between denim or cotton, or like I didn't know anything, man. And I figured if I want to do something right, I'm gonna have to do it myself. And
Yeah.
and that's how I slowly started. Like I took their advice and I started like and and I really wanted to push that message. What better way to push a message than through my own two hands creating that message?
For
You
sure.
know, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's how Grow the Sport
That's
kind of
really cool,
started.
man.
Like there's a I really think that there's a difference between a product and then there's a difference between a brand that sells products.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you wear something, like for example, the hat you have on right now, that means something, man. Like I'm sure you wear that because it means something to you. With it, there's a message behind that, and people, I'm sure, like if somebody wears your hat, they're not wearing it because hey, this is I like the way the hat looks. It's because there's a story behind it that gives them a feeling and
Dude,
an emotion.
100%. Yes.
So basically what it boils down to is I'm trying to sell emotion and not product, if that makes sense. You know what I'm
That makes a
saying?
ton of sense. And I think that's certainly the way to do it. Like
Right.
the example you gave is like with this hat, like this isn't my it's not the best hat. Like I actually like melon hats. Super expensive hats. They're waterproof, they're washable, all
Right.
this. But my friend Jimmy Hickey gave me this hat. And he started this company, Finley Hats. And he made this hat. This is a sample that he made and sent it to me. He's like, "Do you like them? I'll make them." So I wear this hat all the time, not because it's got the logo, but because Jimmy made it for me. You know, it has
because
meaning
it's
behind it.
exactly
Exactly. And I love your story, how it kind of just like it brought it all full circle. Like you used to slang other things, you know, and now you're slanging something meaningful, something from the heart, dude. I love it. That's a dope story.
right, right, right,
You working on
right.
anything new and exciting at Grow the Sport?
Yeah, so every year in August, so I have a couple collabs coming up. Um, One of them I can't say who with yet,
Come on.
but every year in August, well, I could. It's I mean it's hard. I only mentioned two people, but um, it's in the works in the next few months. I don't want
All
to
right.
but I am. So every year in August, which my clean date is August 8th of 2010. Every year in August, I do an addiction awareness campaign, where the goal is to raise awareness on addiction throughout the paintball community and find someone in the paintball community to scholarship them into a drug and alcohol treatment center.
Amazing.
And I've done that the last 2 years, and now August is coming up next month, so I'm working on slowly. So I release some headbands for that. Last year I did jerseys with Ruthless. Um, so this year we're getting me and Walker have been talking a lot from Carbon, um, and I just got the sample mock up of the addiction awareness jerseys for this year. I have a
Cool.
few modifications that I need to make for them, but I'm going to do jerseys this year with Carbon. Um, Definitely going to make some headbands. I got a new logo that I'm going to be working on. So it seems like every year, like the bunny logo kind of changes. Um, so it's like the 2024 had its own kind of like vibe to it, and 2025 addiction awareness is going to have its own vibe to it. Um, so right now, that's kind of what's in the works is the addiction awareness kind of coming up. I also have a Reaper series coming out this month of headbands. It's going to be a small batch release. I've been doing a lot of 3D printing lately, so I've been adding like a figurine with the headbands so that people can collect the figurines with the
Cool.
headband. So like you'll have like not you won't just get the headband, you'll get like a figurine, something dope, something cool that like you want to put on your shelf. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
says grow the sport on it. And there, actually, I could show you one or a couple of them here that I have. I got a couple of them here. These are the
Ooh.
figurines that we got for
Little Reapers.
Little Reapers.
You made those at home?
I made these through my 3D printer. Yeah, I just got into 3D printing. So
That's
like
tight.
these come included with the headband. You know what I mean? So like you put shit. I mean, I'm gonna keep one of these for myself and put it up there.
Bro,
Um, I
I got
mean,
room on my shelf. I got room on my shelf, just so
I
you
mean,
know.
dude, you let me know, man. I'll make you one and I'll send it over.
Can you
Um,
put a paintball nerd mask on
I
him?
can write paintball nerd on it. Yeah.
Where
So
did the
just
bunny come from? Where'd that how'd you come up with that?
dude, I was just messing with designs when I started the brand. Like, dude, I was thinking of so many ideas, like, and like one of the phrases that has been around paintball forever is "grow the sport."
For
That
sure.
phrase has been around paintball, and I'm surprised that there wasn't a company that took that. Um, and I was messing around on Canva and looking at like I was thinking of like I wanted something to symbolize community and like rebirth and like reproduction. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
was
there you
like,
go. That makes
dude, I was
sense.
I was looking at phoenixes and different types of animals and stuff like that. And then I just was messing around and I found this, like, as you can see back here, I found this really cool bunny head, and
It's like a
I
Punisher
think,
bunny.
yeah, and it has like a little headband coming out the side. So I kind of like modified it, cut it up, and like edited it myself, and then I put the words "Grow the Sport" right next to it, and it looked so good, and I was like, fucking perfect. I got it. Like Grow the Sport Paintball.
I
Um,
love it, dude.
so and it's a
So
cool
cool.
abbreviation, GTS. Um, so that's how the bunny came along. A lot of people like the bunny. A lot of people just like to grow the sport.
I
Um,
like both. And I like the
yeah,
bunny
yeah,
even
yeah,
more now that I know that it represents like,
yeah.
growth and
It's a
like,
rebirth. It's a
rebirth.
rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bunnies reproduce.
Do
That's
they
what they do.
multiply, baby? That's what it's all
Yeah, they
about.
do. Yeah, like they say in what do they call Eminem in the movie Rabbit? You know,
Yeah. There you
they call
go.
him Rabbit for a reason. I'm not gonna say in this show. You know.
You can. It's okay. It's not for kids only, but
Right, right.
but well, Nick, tell me a little bit about your history in paintball. Actually, what I'd love to hear, because we all got one. We all got a great memory from paintball. What's yours?
Man, I gotta say, watching Dynasty in '03 win World Cup, um, because I played Cup in 2003, um, with some OG ballers who are still around. One of the guys now plays for Pro Aftershock. I played with him in Cup, way back in the day. This obviously in '03, and Dynasty had
Who's
just
that?
come out. Um, Andre Lopez, Speedy, they call him.
Speedy's my boy, dude.
Yeah, 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 Speedy.
Yeah, I know Speedy.
I've known him. I played seven man with him in Cup in '03. I used to play back with him back in the day at this field called Strike Force, and dude, I still see
Dude,
him. He's
I still play
G1.
with Speedy. I play 10 man Aftershock with Speedy.
There you go. There you go. So you know him well.
Yeah.
So I played with him. I've known him all these years, or I
Shout out
knew him
G1.
back then.
Shout out
Shout out to
G1.
G1 Paintball. Yeah, I actually have some of their gear. Um, a lot of the money that I make from Grow the Sport, it goes to like support other brands. Like I'll buy King's Creations bands when they drop. Like I'll buy Charm City bands when they drop. I'll buy like even small brands. Like I'll buy something just to support. Like G1, I have like I don't even wear Proflexes, to be honest, and I have two G1 foams. I have the two G1 mask straps. And I have mask straps for sale. Like um, I just like to support brands.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
important.
so my greatest memories are back in the day. Um, when Dynasty first came out and kind of watching that evolution of them changing the sport and like changing, a bunch of young dudes that, man, they were just like coming up and like they changed the way paintball was played.
For sure.
And I was able to watch that like inception. I don't know if you ever saw the Push paintball. Of course you've seen Push, that
Oh, yeah.
paintball video. Yeah,
Of
that
course.
video inspired me to like. I tried that Rocky dive so many times. That
Yeah.
dive over the snake. And man, I tried that so many times when I was younger, and that I think that's my best memory. Those are my greatest memories, man. Back in the day, just before addiction, and just
Hmm.
all the fun, man. All the fun that I had hanging out with the older guys, and like just kind of the freedom and doing my thing, man. I have great memories from that.
Yeah. I tried the Rocky dive too. Like after I watched Push when I was younger. I was at LA Open in maybe 99 or 2000 or something like that. And we were walking the field and there was a snake on the field. And like if someone saw someone else doing this today, it would be like, it'd be kind of cringy. It's cringy when I tell this story. But I'm like, I'm gonna try diving over the snake. We were walking the field, mind you. Like everyone's walking the field. There's no one has guns or anything. And here's this kid like running and diving over the snake. So the first time I tried it, I laid there for a second because I knocked the wind out of myself. So
Right.
I dove, landed on the ground, and just like couldn't breathe. I'm like, man, how did he dive over and shoot someone and then
Yeah.
land? Um, but if you talk to Rocky about it today, he actually hit the ground so hard that he cracked his lens.
Mm.
So and Nick, you see guys do it today, like all the time in X ball, like every tournament, multiple times, people are bunkering and diving over the snake, and they make it look so beautiful. Like they do it so easily now. But like I think what we witnessed with Rocky doing that, uh, like this is I'm stealing this from Frazier, but it's like watching someone slam dunk for the first time. It's
Right.
like what, like you can't do that. Like it's just like
Right.
how is that even possible? So it's like that move in particular, but that movie inspired a generation of paintball players,
It
right? To keep,
inspired me, man.
dude,
That the push was such a big reason that I got so deep into paintball. Like I
same,
this is gonna sound very like corny and like embarrassing, but like I can
nerdy,
care
go with
less.
nerdy.
Like, nerdy, there we go. Dude, I literally cried at the end of Push Paintball. Like because of the music, like the music. Like I still remember the words of the names of the song. It was Get Up Kids, because I
Yeah,
downloaded them on Napster back then or whatever we had back then. It was
yeah.
Get Up Kids was one of them. I think that
Don't
song was called
worry,
"Don't Worry."
I'll
Yeah, that's what I
catch
was just about to
you.
say. Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
and then like it shows like I forgot his name, but it was his last tournament, and they won the event. And like, dude, I remember like being like this little
Spud.
kid just nerding out, Spud, yeah, and like everybody was hugging him and being this little kid just nerding out on this. Dude, I watched Push Paintball like 500 times, man. Um,
Dude,
and
same.
I
I still
and
watch it
I
like
tried
once
to
a
mimic.
month. Like every
So
weekend I
good,
go to the
so
paintball
good.
field, I listen to the soundtrack still. At the Dude, you'll laugh at this. At the last ICPL in Maryland on Sunday, we're getting ready, to play for the day, and it's all quiet. It's like early in the morning. I'm like, we need like music. We need a soundtrack. So I put on the Push soundtrack while we're all gearing up, and no one knew what it was. Like Ryan Hoskinson was like, "What is this?" And I even had like old guys around the team, like Todd Adamson, and Gerald Garcia. They're like, is this the Push soundtrack?" I'm
Right.
like, "Yeah, bro. This is how I get down." So, dude, that movie's still a big part of my life, actually.
Dude, I agree with you, man. That was such a pivotal like
Yeah,
experience to watch that movie, and that's when paintball was really evolving, man. Like when you
for
see those
sure.
players make those moves like that, and that's back when the double knee slide was cool. You know what I'm saying? Because
It's not cool. It's not cool anymore.
it's not cool anymore, man. You see, like I even tell people on my because I'm the captain of my line, and I tell people I'm like, yo, if you double knee slide on this line, you're off the fucking team. You know what I mean? Obviously it's a joke, because people have to sometimes, but like yeah, that's bad. Like, but dude, back then, like the fields were so big when you're playing 10 man, like you like you knee slide like a quarter mile, like
Yeah.
it was dude, it was just so much different back then, and it was like you actually had to run to your bunkers, like
Yes.
you had to run, like if you were playing the front like I played, man, if you're running to the 50, like
It's a
dude,
long run.
you're like running for a while. Like now you run to the 50, you're running and gunning, you're there, you're already dodging paint, you're under the paint or whatever, and like you're there in like 3 seconds. Um, but it
Dude, you
was
ever
just
play
way,
10
way
man? Have you tried that yet?
back
The
in the
mech,
day. Back in the day,
dude, you got to try mech 10 man. It's
I
like
know
it'll
everybody
bring you
tells
right
me,
back. It'll take
everybody,
you right back. So
everybody
good.
tells me to play 10 man, but it's like me and you have had these scheduling conflicts because of the kids, and
Yeah.
since I play MVPS, which is the local events here, like for me to get more days away from the family, dude, it's impossible,
Yeah.
bro. It's
I gotcha.
you know what I mean? It's so,
Dude, one
but
day the stars will align just
yeah,
right and you'll be
I'm
able to
sure,
come play.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Like maybe in cup or something like that. I'll
There we go.
I'll try out some 10 man. But I usually take my son. Me and my son have like a really good weekend bonding um, during during cup. So I usually
How old is
don't
he?
play. He's 10. He's gonna turn 11 soon.
Is he playing yet?
No, 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 no. He's scared.
Okay, he'll get there.
He's he'll get yeah. Hopefully, hopefully. He really likes soccer, so
Okay, well that's more
you know.
lucrative, anyways. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a little better on the pocket,
yeah.
you know. And if he goes pro, you know, he can actually make some money,
There you go.
you know.
You got a favorite player?
Um, Man, to be honest, I'm not really a I don't really follow a lot of the pros and the pro teams and the stats and stuff like that.
Ain't got to be
Like a lot
recent.
of other people do.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that my favorite player of all time would have to be Rocky, just because of how much I mimicked him back in the
Mm,
day and how much I wanted to be like him and how much he kind of changed my course of like how to play paintball. Um, you know, funny enough, I actually made some headbands one time, like a set of three, and they were called um, they were brown because you remember Doodoo Brown,
Doodoo Brown.
that dark angel that he had, and he says that in Push, and I called them Cagnoni was the name of the headbands. I made three of them, and I definitely got some heat for that. It ended up going into some chats with some pro players, and I got some messages about that. But through that, I was able to talk to Rocky, and like just explain to him. I'm like, yo, like, because he messaged me. He's like, hey man, what's up with these headbands? You know, like you didn't get my approval to use my name, and like, you know, I tried obviously not to call them Rocky Cagnoni. I just called them
Hmm.
Cagnoni. Um, but I told him, I'm like, yo, you know, I named them Cagnoni because they're brown, and like, you know, like honestly, I used to watch you as a kid, and like it was just very nostalgic for me to make these, and like, you know, the messages kind of changed, shifted over to him being like, yo, you know, like that's cool, man, like. And I'm like, yo, let me make you a headband, and I made him a custom headband without my logo, because you know he still has like partnerships or sponsorships and stuff like that. You know, he can't be wearing a Grow The Sport headband. I made him one without a logo, and then I sent it to him. You know, just out of respect, and you know, so funny enough, I actually got some pushback from some. It ended up in a pro player chat something somewhere where this guy made a Cagnoni headbands. You know, and some
Mm.
people were hating on him. You know,
Well, I think, okay, I understand how that can happen. A lot of these pro players, uh, they work really hard for a little bit of amount of money, right, to create the persona that they have created and create the reputation that they have created. But 100%, anyone that's called you out on that or had any kind of complaint had no idea your intention or the fact that you were a fan of Rocky. They probably thought, who's this guy trying to cash in on Rocky's name? That's what they thought,
right, right, right.
but they didn't know that
Yeah.
you were like loved Rocky as a player and looked up to him. It's a completely different story, right?
Yeah, and I
So,
respect that. You know, I saw where they were coming from. I can
yeah.
see how, you know, I can see how you know, that's like if I make like, you know, any pro players, any, you know, one of any of the, you know, really, you know, high up there pro players, like if I name something, like I don't want to like name pro players to make any other pro player look lesser or more, but like,
Hmm.
you know, if I like make a you know, X name series, and like I fucking embroider a picture of them on them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's you know, that's a different story. Like I
totally.
can understand how like, you know, that would be funny enough, I actually made I was gonna do a Revy series, Proflex series. of headbands. I'll actually show you the headband. It was my first embroideries ever, so I was messing with the embroideries, and I just started doing embroidery on headbands about a year ago, surprisingly. Um, Actually, let me get the headband real quick. I'm going to show you.
All right, cool.
I was rejected. Let me see here.
Oh, did they like, oh, you can't use our likeness of our old
Yeah,
products, or is
yeah,
it like
yeah.
one of
So
those?
I reached out to. So I mean, here, let me show you the embroideries here. So these were my first embroideries ever. So they're a little bit crooked and all over the place. So this is the headband.
Revy. Yeah, I see.
See the little rubber right there,
Yeah, a little Proflex.
little Proflex.
Who's that
You got
nerd?
Chet. That's Chester from Lincoln Park. You got my logo here. See, it says right here, new shit, 2025. But you can see they're all like crooked. Like this was my practice
Yeah,
first embroideries ever.
yeah,
And I reached out to JT because obviously I know, I'm not gonna just, I got so much heat for the Rocky thing. I was like, okay, maybe that was the wrong idea. I messaged JT. I was like, yo, I would really like to do Proflex embroidery headband release, and they were like, no, sorry, you can't. And I respected that.
hmm,
I get it. I can't just do a Proflex release. And
yeah,
even though this would be a dope release with all color masks, you know what I mean? I'm sure JT would not be happy about that, and that's why I asked them out of respect.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
what,
it's weird though, because like I don't want to speak for JT, but if you just released that headband and it had a little picture of a Proflex goggle and there was no mention of the word Proflex, there's no JT anywhere, it's just like a little embroidered mask. That's hard.
right?
That's a hard thing for them to fight you on. Like,
Yeah, but
just
I don't want to like also the brands attached to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
want to I don't want to like push any buttons I shouldn't
yeah,
push and like stuff like that. Like I can understand because they're a really big, JT's pretty big
for sure.
and I wouldn't want to get any hate from them, um, and like tarnish my reputation or like, even
Yeah,
though I can care, it's not going to tarnish me in any way, but just out of respect, I asked them,
yeah,
and
I feel that.
and yeah,
Well, I appreciate you showing me that. You got some other cool stuff you want to show off?
yeah. I mean, I got some OG stuff here.
All
Um,
right. Well, before you do that, let me shout out the show's sponsors here. Got to
let's
thank the
do it.
sponsors for supporting the show. Lumi Gummies. Go to lumigummies.com. Use code paintballnerd at checkout for 20% off your first order and 10% off future orders. You got to be 21 or over. So, be smart. Don't mess around. Replace those harmful prescription drugs. Nick knows about those. Nick doesn't like those. Get on the. Maybe Nick doesn't like the Lumi gummies either. But it's
No,
better than prescription drugs. Harmful stuff made in a lab. LumiGummies.com, paintball nerd at checkout. Shop PB Retro, all your cool DV8 JT gear. Go to paintballretro.com. Click the link in the description below. It helps out the show. Nectar Energy, NECTR.energy. Use code Paintball Nerd at checkout, and you'll get 15% off your entire order. And this applies to one time orders or your first subscription. I'd like to thank the Farm Paintball Field, the Farm Sports LLC in Shelbyville, Middle Tennessee's best paintball field. Go to thefarmsportsllc.com. And finally, Planet Eclipse, my Mech CS3 Pro. Gotta love that. Gets me wins, gets me first places with
Planet
Aftershock at the
Eclipse,
ICPL.
Planet
Gotta love
Eclipse,
Planet
baby.
Eclipse.
Yeah.
Thank you, sponsors. All right, Nick, show me what you got.
So I got so I'll start off here with well, like I said, I like supporting places that I go to. So the places that I've traveled to, a couple of them, NR Paintball in Maryland, NRPL, I think is their league. I got a beanie from them. I went over there. I gave them some free product to give out to some of my followers over there. So if they follow Grow the Sport, which surprisingly enough, more of my followers are outside of my local area. They got some free gear. I bought a couple beanies from them because it was fucking snowing over there in Maryland. Um, I got that there. I got a very very old Splat. This see right here, it says Splat Brandon, which was or Splat
Brazil.
Brazil actually. Brazil. You know what?
What is that?
I think that's if I'm not mistaken, Speedy's from Brazil.
He is.
I
Did you
think
steal
this
that
was.
from Speedy?
I think I might have ended up with this from Speedy. So I got a super old Smart Parts kit, and I even got some of the old freak inserts in this thing.
Nice.
So that's
Cool.
one of my nostalgic items. I got this was actually gifted to me from a teammate.
Dude. Is that the original purple ice?
This is I shit. Let me look at the date on this thing. I think so because
Looks
it's.
like
I
it.
mean, dude, this thing is like
Super soft.
mismolded and it's
Yeah.
upside down. Like I keep it upside down. Oh man, I wish I could see the date on this thing. Oh yeah, this is definitely oh right here. Wait, no, that's the lens. Where's the date? Where's the date? I
I
can't
don't
see
know
the
if those
date.
have them on there, but
Yeah, but
maybe.
this is definitely an OG for sure.
It's not like the recent ones that just
No,
came out
no,
like a
no, no,
months ago. Yeah.
no. This is definitely an original. I got
That's
some
tight.
cool art here that I got from Riddle's Art. This is an ink press.
Dude, is that the OG? Is that the original or is that a
This
print?
so this is pressed. So this is Riddle Art. One of where is the number here? Three of four. Number three of four. This is his. This is pressed. So this is on upcycled paper.
Mm-hmm.
I have it framed because it's paper, but this is one of his original presses.
That's
Have
tight.
you seen his
Yep.
have you seen his stuff?
Big
So
fan.
this is one of his originals, which was super cool. Again, man, like I the money from the Grow the Sport account goes to like support people that are doing creative shit. Um, this mask is actually one of my OG Proflexes. This one was from '05 August. Yeah, this one was made in August of '05. Just the
What is that
bottoms.
like? That frame? Is that
I don't know,
yellow and
dude.
orange?
I bought this when I got back into right around when I got that axe, and I think they tried to spray paint it. I think it was
Oh,
yeah, they like I think it was orange or yeah, it must have been orange, and they
or
must have spray
yellow.
painted some gold onto it.
Oh. Yeah, it
Which
looks
I mean,
like a solar orange on my screen. It looks
it's
cool.
it's cool though. It's cool for sure. Um, I got one of the old school
Oh shit.
JT
That's nice.
super. You could tell it's like that, almost like that denim neck collar. Let's see if I get a better
That's
picture of this.
that's
This is
special.
one of the ones I used to play with way back in the day. It doesn't even have a number on the back. Just one of the original JT like super thick jerseys
Yeah.
that they wore back then. I got a dye bubble. Oh no, this is not the bubble jersey, is it? No, but I got a
Oh,
dyed
bro.
envision.
That's an '03. That's when I started playing for the Ironman. I got a couple jerseys like that too.
Yep.
Same color.
It's even got the little bit of arm padding in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right here, it's got like that little rubber stuff that you got there.
Dye tack is what they called that.
Yeah, this is back when things were like. I think this is back when sublimation maybe might have just been coming around, or I don't even know how they got this on there back then, to be honest, because I don't think sublimation was a thing back then. I don't know when sublimation started coming out. Um, man, I got like, dude, I have some stuff here. Again, man, something else that I supported another paintball player,
Oh
man.
yeah, Matt.
Yep, Pursuit of Glory. I got the hardcover from him. he reached out to me to help him promote a little bit, and you know, just super cool stuff like that, man. I like to collect. I like to show like some love and support to you know, I have like a mental health awareness jersey that I got from some kid in Australia who reached out to me, who follows me. He's like, dude, I love what you're doing. I'm going through a lot of mental health. And he like did like a small batch with Vatios. They're a brand out in Australia. He did
Hmm.
like a small batch jersey run with them, and just a cool mental health jersey. You know, I don't know where it is right now, um, but that's some of the OG stuff.
I love it, dude.
And this right here is I gotta show this stuff off. I don't know if you remember these things, man.
Oh, straight shot. Yeah.
Straight
And you
shot.
got the yellow lanyard too, just like Oliver. Hmm.
Oh man, yeah. I still
Oh, it's
got
on a red
I got
lanyard. Okay.
I got a Draxus lanyard on here,
Yeah.
and then I got the OG. My oh look at that
10-man athlete.
10 man
2003.
athlete. Yep,
Yeah.
10 man athlete. '03 MPPL World Cup. This is
That's
how
in
they
pretty
give
good
out the.
shape.
Yeah, I had it in my gear bag, my Reds gear bag for for years, man. These are some of the things people don't buy for drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I can't sell this.
Yeah.
You
Good
know?
thing too.
Yeah, yeah. Good thing I was able to keep some things from back in the day. You
Dude.
know?
I love it, Nick, man. I appreciate your time here. I appreciate you sharing everything.
Likewise,
One
man. I appreciate you.
absolutely, dude. It's been my pleasure. What's so just to wrap things up here, what is the thing that you're most thankful for that paintball's given you?
um, I think the passion back from something that I lost.
Mm,
The I think the vision of like a lost dream reawakened. I think it's the man because I fucking love this sport so much, man. Like I just it's not even just about the actual game. It's about the the um the mental health that I
yeah,
received from paintball. That's what I'm most thankful for sure. Is the mental health benefits.
awesome.
You know.
Nick,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, bro. It was an honor. I appreciate you having me on this show.